eNet, your pay-as-you-go work comp specialists.
Great job. Man, that's usually first note out of the truck.
When we talked earlier about doing a truss package for the roof line here, actually talking with Corey and Ronald, we feel like we can actually stick build this particular roof. They're gonna spend some time today going through the calculations, figuring their roof package, make sure they call in an order and get it out here so they can start working on cutting the rafters tomorrow. That's the process we went with. We feel it's more cost effective and we feel the guys can take care of it.
When you just have studs, you're literally looking from one room to another and all of this kind of goes, and it's like, you know, this really doesn't feel that big.
Yeah.
Once you get drywall, it's like, well, this is a pretty big size room.
Yeah, it is. It's gonna get real big. Like I really felt like everything was just real small, you know, and then now that the ceiling's on here, I feel like it's really starting to come around.
So the great debate's over. We are stick building the roof. It's not a truss. Truss would have been probably easier. But we're stick building it. And what you got is, we call it mainly a hip roof.
And then combination, hip and gable, yeah.
And in the front there's going to be 3 gables that come into the hip. To get that look that we're looking for, it's like 3 big gables actually that run into each other. And then we're going to build what's called a cricket, which is an area where the 2 gables come together. The cricket's going to help give a little flat spot for the water to run out so they don't run directly into each other. So a little bit more complicated than maybe what we wanted to do, but it's going to work out. So.
The jacks go into the hips.
Well, we got 2 different hip heights here because we have a 9-foot section of house on this side, and then we have a 10-foot in the middle. In order to make all that work out, we actually had to push forward this ridge here, and it is a little bit higher than this side ridge, which is over the 9-foot. And that's been some of the issues with framing it out, is finding out how to get all these things to come together, look right, but more importantly to function right. Try and get the water to a point where it'd get off the roof and not sit in one flat spot. And from the house, you really won't notice this. Maybe driving up from the east side, which is to my right here, you're going to see a little hump in the roof right here, but that's going to be filled in and sheeted. And also, it's going to be shingled and you're not going to really see it. You'll see a little hump in the roof coming down the road, but the front's going to look really good. Well, you can see here they put what they call a ridge back in, and the ridge back is support that goes in the middle of these long rafters here. Just stiffens them up. It's a long span, and then that actually transfers down to walls that are load bearing that go down to the concrete footing. So all that load again is transferred all the way to the bottom of the house where there's an actual footing underneath. Here we just see some temporary scaffolding that's helping them get the roof up. It's not practically moving ladders around all over up here. We also do stiff backs in the ceilings, You can see some of that here. It's a 2x6 with a 2x4 on the side. Again, it runs from wall to wall. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a load-bearing wall for that. But that gives some rigidity to the ceiling, make sure that the sheetrock isn't flexing too much or cracking once it's installed and finished the way it should be. About half of the roof skeleton is up. Well, about 2/3 actually. Got another third to finish, and then there's a lot of other steps to it that people don't realize, like the bracing. We'll actually extend the rafters, rafter tails, what they call them, out, so that there's a place to install soffit and fascia. There's a fascia board that runs around, which will be a 1x6 or a 2x6 face that goes around, and then metal aluminum fascia goes over top of that. So even though it's starting to look like the roof's here, there's still a lot of steps to get it completed to the point where we can sheet it.
Brought to you in part by Carpet One Floor and Home Columbia. Best brands, best service. The one store for your perfect floor. Forum Christian Church, intentionally connecting people to Jesus. And Withrow Electric. No job too small.
It's all about commitment, and when it comes to the environment, we're committed to making the world out there just as beautiful as we help you make the world in here. By using green practices and natural materials from renewable resources to operate our Carpet One Floor and Home stores, and offering a growing selection of flooring that meets our Green Select standards. When you purchase a product with a Green Select label, you'll know you've made a choice you can feel good about forever. Visit Carpet One Floor and Home today to learn more about Green Select, the earth-friendly choice.
Being here makes me smile a lot.
It's one place I don't have to worry about fitting in.
I learned how and why to make a difference.
Forum Christian Church, connecting, growing, living.